We are doing right now exercise 2 on the section 7.2 worksheet. At the end of our last time, at the end of the last video, we did example 1 and exercise 1. So I'm just going to give you a few minutes to do exercise 2. We are eliminating the x's if you want to be doing the same thing I'm doing. I'm just going to get started on the busy work. Keep working. Again, the first thing I mentioned is eliminate the x's. Again, the only reason I said that is just so we're all doing the same thing. You can start by eliminating any of the variables you want and just being consistent. So what I'm going to do, just to tell you my process, I am going to eliminate the x's out of the top and the middle. And then I do notice that there is one pair of equations that this will happen a lot easier. And I will then go back and I'm going to eliminate the x's from the top and the bottom because they are already opposites. Again, if you did anything different, you don't have to be erasing. Okay, there's other combinations. You could have eliminated the x's from the middle and the bottom. You will end up at the same destination that I do. Okay, your path there will just look a little bit different. Okay, if you had chose to eliminate the z's or the y's, the same thing holds. So when I grade your tests, okay, I'm not looking for, I'm looking at the final answer. And then if you made a mistake, I will go back through and see where it was. But we should all end up at the same place. So if I'm going to eliminate the x's from the top and the middle, just remind me, because it's been 5 days since we were together, what's my process? What am I going to do here? Top one by -3. I've already got a +3 on the middle equation in front of the x, so that means I need a -3. So I'm going to multiply this top equation by -3. Now I'm just going to write that down here on the right. So that makes the top equation -3x plus 9y plus 6z equals +9. Anybody got a procedural question? Anything you're not following along or understanding what I did or am doing? The middle equation, I am not making any changes to, so I'm just going to rewrite it. 3x plus 2y minus z equals 12. And if I've done my multiplication right, then what should happen is my x's should cancel, and I'll get an equation in terms of the other two variables. So -3x plus 3x cancels. 9 and 2 is 11y. 6 minus 1 is plus 5z. And then 9 and 12 is 21. And there's my first equation I'm going to work with. If you eliminated from the middle and the bottom, because that's what you saw to do, maybe you just wanted to multiply the bottom one by +3, you have a different equation, okay? It will look different. So don't think, oh, I don't have 11y plus 5z equals 21. Well, if you use different equations, you won't have that, and it's okay. Now, the top and the bottom are nice because I can just add them. So x and -x, those cancel. -3y and -y is -4y. -2z plus 4z is plus 2z. And then -3 plus 3 is 0. And there's my two equations. I'm going to take this equation right here. I'm just going to write it right below so that I can plan my next step. So I've got -4y plus 2z equals 0. Now, again, it's highly possible that you are working with two different equations because you started with different ones. But looking at mine, I'm going to cancel the z's because the numbers are a little bit smaller. What am I going to do with my equations here to cancel the z's? Okay, so if you're canceling the y's, top by 4, bottom by 11, that's great. If I'm canceling the z's, then I want to do the top by 2 or -2, and then the bottom one by 5 or -5, depending. Remember, we have to have opposites. So I'm going to do the top equation by 2 and the bottom equation by -5 so that I'll have my opposites. And again, if you got to this place and it just made sense for you to eliminate the y's, that's great. Okay, I'm just trying to repeat this because I want you to have confidence. Okay, I know there's a lot of different left turns and right turns that we can make as we go through this problem, but we should end up in the same place. So my top equation will now become 22y plus 10z is equal to 42. My bottom one will be positive 20y minus 10z is equal to 0. 22 plus 20, that's 42y. The z's cancel, which is what I wanted. And then 42 and 0 is 42. Ah, that works nice. I'm going to give you a little hint for the test. As long as I've not had any typos, I'm shooting for integer answers. Okay, so if you end up with 55 over 7, hopefully it's not my mistake. I always check before because I have made typos. So look at that. I'm trying to help you know that you're on the right path. I know I'm a cruel math teacher, but I try not to be that cruel. And so my y value is going to be 1. And now, wherever you are, whether you found the z first or the x first or y first, now we just go back up the ladder. I'm going to take this y value of 1. I'm going to use this equation just because nothing's written below it. That is my only thought process. I have no super secret information that I'm not sharing. So when I put y equal to 1 right here, negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, plus 2z equals 0. I'm going to add the 4 to both sides, and I get 2z is equal to 4. And when I divide by 2, now I have z is equal to 2. So there's my second part of the answer. And then the very final part of the answer is I'm going to take this y value, this z value, and I'm going to throw a dart at my page and hopefully not hit my hand. And I'm just going to pick randomly one of these 3 equations. It absolutely does not matter. I'm going to use the bottom one just because it's the bottom one. So I've got negative x, then minus y, so that's minus 1, plus 4z, so 4 times 2 is plus 8, is equal to 3. So all I did is I plugged in my value of y, I plugged in my value of z into this bottom equation. So I have negative x, negative 1 plus 8 is plus 7. Subtract the 7 from both sides, divide both sides by negative 1, and there's my x value. Last thing to do, notational. We've talked notation all semester, is to write your ordered triple. My x is 4, my y is 1, my z is 2, and I'm going to put that in some squigglies. That is my solution set. I've got just one more example, so if you are struggling to solve these, please raise your hand and let me know. Let's get this out in the open. I just want to make a note on exercise 3. Notice the middle and the bottom equation don't contain all 3 variables. When this happens, it's actually a good thing. It means less work. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give you a little direction at the top. Let's look at the bottom equation. What variable is missing from the bottom equation? The y. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to take the top and the middle equation, and you're going to eliminate the y. So you only have to go through that one time, and then you'll have 2 equations with no y, and then you can finish the problem. Okay, so what we're going to do here, just again, I'm going to write it. We're going to eliminate the y out of these 2 equations, the top and the middle, and then we're going to combine that with that bottom equation to go and finish the process. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that. All right, so if I am going to eliminate the y's from the top and the middle equation, what do I need to multiply the top equation by? Let's do 3. That will give me a 6y. So then what do I have to multiply the middle equation by? -2. Now you may, if you followed my advice and eliminated the y's, you may have done the top by -3, the bottom by +2. That's fine. You'll just get a negative of my equation. So they should look pretty similar. So when I multiply the top one by 3, I get 9x plus 6y minus 3z is equal to -3. The bottom equation, notice there's no x in the bottom equation. That's okay. I have -6y minus 2z is equal to -24. A very helpful thing if you've never solved systems of 3 equations, which I'm assuming you haven't, that's why I'm mentioning this. Keep everything lined up real nice. So now when I add these together, I have 9x, and then I don't have anything here. So 9x plus nothing is 9x. Positive 6y minus 6y, those cancel. -3z minus 2z is -5z. And then -3 and -24 is -27. I'm then going to bring down this bottom equation. I'm not going to do anything to that equation because it's already missing the y. So I have x minus 3z is equal to -3. Again, you are more than welcome to eliminate the z's, but I always take the path of least resistance, which in this case is going to be to eliminate the x's. What am I going to multiply here to eliminate the x's? Yeah, -9, perfect. And so that's going to give me, I'm just going to repeat the top equation, -9x minus 5z is equal to -27. Then we have -9x and plus 27z is equal to plus 27. My x's cancel. -5, I wrote 2 here instead of 27. Sorry, that's my bad. -5 plus 27, even though it's written very poorly. -5 plus 27 is 22z. -27 plus 27 is 0. Z is 0. And now I'm just going to work my way up. I'm going to take this z value of 0. I'm going to plug it into this equation right here. And so I get x minus 0 equals -3. So that tells me right away that the x value is -3. I've got the z of 0. I've got the x of -3. I can go back to the top equation if I want. I'm just going to use the middle one. Again, I'm fairly mathematically lazy. So when I put the 0 in, I get 3y plus 0 is 12 in that middle equation. I divide both sides by 3, and I get that the y is 4. So my ordered triple for this problem is the x value is -3, the y value is 4, the z value is 0, and boom, there's my answer. If you are like classes in the past, you're going to understand, or you're following along. This is pretty straightforward. The thing to be most careful about is the signs of your numbers. Okay, that's the most common by far mistake on this test. Is I get it, you're just kind of in the zone and thinking about other things because you know multiplying integers together, but it's real easy to mess up the signs. So just be careful of that. All right, so if you flip the page over, we've just each got a couple more problems, and then we're done with this section. So my second example is taking a word problem, and we're going to convert it to a system of equations. And we'll do a little bit, I'll give you some advice about solving, but just for time's sake, we're not going to go through and solve the whole thing. So I understand that this is a difficult process. I know we don't love word problems. So again, don't be shy with your questions. Don't let me assume something that I shouldn't be assuming. So let's read through this problem, and then I'm going to give you advice on how to set up the system. It says a total of $2,000 is invested at 1%, 2%, 2.5% interest. So apparently we've got 3 different accounts. And the interest rates, all the numbers are nice and round and kept small just to keep life easy for us. And so we want to know the amount invested at 2.5% is 6 times the amount at 1. The total interest for 1 year is $44. Again, nice small round numbers. Use a system of equations to determine the amount invested at each interest rate. Okay. So the key to any word problem is first to make sure you know what you're calling all your variables so that you don't get messed up and cross things over. So I'm just going to use the letters X and Y and Z. You can use any letters you want, doesn't matter at all. And I'm going to let X be the amount that's invested at 1%. The Y is going to be the amount invested at 2%. And then the Z is finally going to be the amount at 2.5. I understand that you don't love to do this step. It doesn't really seem like something you need to do, but it helps keep your thinking straight. It helps you when you're doing these equations, remember which of the accounts, and then when you get your answer, it helps you remember what you've actually found. So that is a pretty important step to do right off the bat. So now we're going to make equations. When you have 3 variables, you need to have 3 equations, okay? When you have 2 variables, you need 2 equations. If you were doing something super complicated and you had 6 variables, you'd need 6 equations to determine the system. Okay, so my first equation is going to be related to this top sentence, the word total. What's the word total mean to do? Hey, you're going to add up. Total means to add. So a total of $2,000. Okay, so that means the amount of money I'm investing has to add up to $2,000. So that means what? You tell me. Have some fun. Say it like you mean it.
X plus Y plus Z equals 2,000.
Winner. Great. That's awesome. Thank you very much. So we've got X plus Y plus Z. That's the total. And we are told that that total has to be $2,000. Beautiful. Well done. First equation. Check. Anybody have a question about that? The next sentence says, the amount invested at 2.5%, which is my Z variable, is 6 times the amount at 1%, which is my X variable. So let's make an equation out of that. What's that equation going to look like if the amount at 2.5 is, keyword, what's is mean in math? Equals, okay? That divides the 2 sides. So the amount invested at 2.5 is 6 times the amount at 1%. What's that? I think you said it, but we're wearing masks and the air conditioner is running. Just one more time. Not 2x. Close. The amount invested at 2.5, that's Z, I'm buying that, is 6 times the amount at 1. So it's going to be 6x. But yes, there you go. Now the reason I wrote that off to the side is because when we're solving a system of equations, my x's, my y's, my z's all have to be on one side, my numbers have to be on the other. So I'm just going to rearrange now. Okay, so this is the equation. Now I'm just going to format it. And I'm going to bring the x over to this side by subtracting it. And I'm going to have negative 6x plus z. I like to leave a little gap. I like everything to line up. Okay, and that's going to equal 0. The last thing I see is the word total again, the total, but this time it's not the total amount. This last sentence is the total interest, okay, that we're going to earn. And so we're just talking simple interest. Again, we're keeping the problem just nice and relaxed, just to get your feet wet, doing some word problems here. How do you calculate simple interest? You multiply. What am I going to multiply? The rate. So 1%, what would the rate be? 1% translates to what? 0.01. Perfect. We're just making our percent into a decimal. So I'm going to take the 0.01 and I'm going to multiply the 0.01 times what? The X amount. This is the interest rate for the X account, the 1% account, how much I put in there. And then plus the next term is going to be 0.02 times Y. And then plus 0.025 times Z. And I'm told that that is the grand total of 44. Now, again, for time's sake, we're not going to go through all the way through and solve it. You are welcome to. I can post the answers on Canvas. If you want to go through the exercise, that's fantastic. But I will give you one bit of advice before I would go and solve this. I like whole numbers, okay? And we've got this last equation that has all these decimals. I don't want to mess around with decimals. I don't want to mess around with fractions, okay? That's my personal life policy when I'm doing this. So what should I multiply all 4 terms of this equation by to get rid of the decimals? Okay, I heard 100, and that's close. Why is it not 100? 100 would work for the first term, no decimal. 100 would work for the second term, no decimal. What about the third it'd be 2.5. I want to get rid of the decimals completely. So what should I multiply all 4 terms by? Bless you. 1,000, yes. So what that makes is 1,000 times 0.01, that is 10x. 1,000 times 0.02, that is 20y. And then 1,000 times 0.025 is 25z. And then 1,000 times 44 is 44,000. Now I have 3 equations. I've got no decimals, and you can just go now and eliminate in the usual way. And I'm going to leave that part for you to do if you want to do your homework, or you don't have to if you feel super confident about your ability to solve such things. What I would like to do is I'm going to slide this to the side. I'll try to fit both of these on there in case you're not done writing. Exercise 4, it's a similar sort of arrangement. This time we're buying tickets for a baseball game, and there's 3 types of tickets. Give this problem a try. Do your best effort at setting up. All you need to do is set it up. You don't need to solve it. All right, let's see how you did. Word problems are difficult. I totally understand. it's something you've got to just learn by doing and making mistakes. So hopefully we get enough opportunity. So it says 3 students buy different combinations of tickets for a baseball game. The first student buys 2 senior, 1 adult, and 2 student tickets for $25. The second student buys 1 adult, 5 students for $24, and the third student buys 2 senior, 2 adult, 7 students for $49. Use a system of equations to determine the cost. So again, first thing I want to do is define the variables. I probably should have said what letters to use, so I hope this doesn't cause confusion. I'm an XYZ kind of guy, so I'm just going to do that. And I'm just going to go in the order that the tickets are presented. So the first student buys 2 senior, so I'm going to let the X be senior. The Y is going to be adult. And then the Z is going to be student. Again, that does not matter. Whatever letter you use to represent senior, adult, and student, just check your equation. The letter does not matter. Okay, so the first student buys 2 senior. Let's stop. That means what am I going to do with my X? Okay, 2X, great. And then 1 adult. So then what am I adding? 1Y or just Y. And then 2 student, 2Z. And when I add those 3 amounts together, I should end up with 25. Let me just stop. Does anyone have a question? Anything you don't see where I got it from? I understand word problems are difficult. I don't want to just slide through this real fast. All right, next equation. The second student buys 1 adult. So that is 1Y and 5 students. 5Z. Notice this second student did not buy any senior tickets. And when this second person, they spent 20, whoops, no they didn't. They spent $24. And then the last student buys 2 senior, 7 student. Oops, I skipped adults for some reason. The third student buys 2 senior, 2 adults. So this should be a 2. There we go, that's what I wrote. And that cost is $49. When you go to solve it, if you choose to, I would take advantage of what we just learned from the last example on the first side of this sheet. This middle equation is already missing the x's, so I would get rid of the x's out of the top and the bottom, and it just saves you a step. So there's a little less busy work that you have to do. The answer should turn out to be nice whole numbers. That's the way I made the problem, so that when you go to check it, you can feel pretty confident. So one more. Take anything you might have learned and do the same thing here. I tell you right up front in this problem, because it might not be common knowledge, that the sum of the measures of the 3 angles of any triangle is 180 degrees. That is a geometry fact that never changes. So that's part that you need that information as part of this problem. Right, so the first sentence starts with the word sum, S-U-M. What's the word sum mean? F, same thing as total. Okay, so it says the sum of the measures of the angles of any triangle is 180 degrees. Then we go on and we learn that there's going to be a large and a medium and a small angle to this triangle. So again, I'm an XYZ kind of guy. Whatever letters you use, it absolutely does not matter. I'm going to let X be the large, Y be the medium, and Z be the small. So if I'm going to say that the sum of the measures of any triangle is 180 degrees, that means that for any triangle, X plus Y plus Z is equal to 180. First equation. Then we're told in a specific triangle, the largest angle measures 55 degrees less than twice the medium. So I'm just going to write this off to the side and then we'll reformat it. It says that the largest, which I have called X, measures 55 degrees less than twice the medium. So what am I going to write on this side? How do I express 55 degrees less than twice the medium? 2 times whatever letter for the medium, I used Y, minus 55, yes. The order for subtraction is particular. If you wrote 55 minus 2Y, that is not correct. Okay, that is twice the medium angle less than 55 degrees. Okay, so subtraction, the order is particular and it's implied in the way the problem's written. So that would be wrong. You'll get the wrong answer. So I'm going to format that. I'm going to bring this 2Y over to the left side now. The reason I'm doing this, once again, is this is how I solve the system. So I'm going to have X minus 2Y is equal to negative 55. Then my last equation says the smallest angle, okay, which I've called Z, the smallest angle measures 25 less than the medium angle. So how do I express 25 less than the medium angle? Y minus 25. Perfect. 25 less than the medium angle. So I start with the medium angle and then I take 25 away from that. So again, I'm going to reformat this by bringing the Y over. This part is for my system of equations. And so I have negative Y and then plus Z is equal to negative 25. Once again, I'm going to stop my work here, but if you want to solve this or if you already started to solve this, again, I would recommend picking whichever your favorite of the middle and the bottom. So say the middle equation has no Z, then what I would do is I'd use the other 2 equations and I'd get rid of the Z because the middle equation has no Z. Just saves you a step. You don't have to do that. You can get rid of the Y's for all that it matters.